Oh shit. Oh, hey, hi there, how are you? Well, welcome to our house, welcome to my kitchen. By popular demand, well, I don't know how popular, but by some demand.
That's pretty popular.
I don't know how popular, but by some demand, my son Matthew's behind the camera. He's going to do a little cooking video tonight. So, relax, hope you enjoy it. But first thing you do is pour yourself a drink. I've got some wine right here. I'm going to pour myself a little glass of wine, relax. Remember, it's supposed to be fun, and enjoy. And if you got comments, questions, just leave them below. Well, tonight's star of the show is going to be fresh Maine lobster.
Oh.
So tonight I'm going to do my version of a New England style lobster roll and lobster mac and cheese. So some people might get a little wiggy over a fresh lobster like this. I will tell you the most humane way to do it is, it's kind of hard to see from that angle, but there's a cross on the back of his head right here. But to prove my point, just to be, the most humane way to dispatch these things, there's a cross right behind his head here. Take a towel, insert it right at that cross.
And straight down?
Straight down, and you immediately kill him. There is no pain. This is all nerves now. So even if I was to put this in there, he can't crush it like he used to. So anyway, now we have him dispatched. On the back here, I've got a pot of hot water. It's just a nice simmer. I'm just going to throw, you don't need a lot in there. So, but I've got some leftover lemons from yesterday. So we're going to send him for a dip. Again, I very humanely dispatch. So we're going to put him in there. I've got one more here I'm going to dispatch. Now he still has his bands on there, right where that X is.
And then into the water they go.
Then in the water they go. Alright, these guys have been going for about 15 minutes. General rule of thumb is 10 minutes per pound, and then 3 minutes per pound after that. These are about 2.5 pounds. So I went 15 minutes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these guys out of here. I'm going to immediately put them in ice water to stop them from cooking.
What's that called?
It's a shock bath.
Oh.
So I'm going to keep these guys in here. I'm going to take the other one out. So I'm going to let these guys chill out for a little bit. Like I said, this is to stop the cooking process. Anyway, while these guys are chilling out, I'm going to start on a bechamel sauce. What I've got in here is I got 1 stick of butter, which is half a cup of butter. You want to do equal parts fat, which could be oil, butter, equal parts flour. So it's a half cup of butter, so I'm going to do a half cup of flour. I'm going to whisk that in and let that cook out a little bit. You want to cook out that raw flour taste. Alright, so I've had this bechamel going for, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes. And again, the longer you cook a roux, the darker it gets. So I don't want a lot of color on this because it's going to be a lobster mac and cheese. So that's pretty good. Again, your main idea is to cook that raw flour out of there. I use half and half. I happen to have a little left over. You want to whisk in that roux so you don't have lumps. You are never going to know how thick something gets with a roux or cornstarch until it comes up to a boil. So when this thing comes up to a boil, then you will know how thick it is. Now to this, I'm just going to add, I like adding fresh nutmeg. And I'm going to say for this much, it's probably a 1/4 teaspoon. I'm going to add a nice pinch of salt. So that's probably, let's say a tablespoon. And then some fresh cracked pepper. 1/4 teaspoon on that too. So again, we're going to let this come up to a boil so you know how thick it is. And then we'll add our cheese. Alright, so we're getting thick here. Especially if you take it back with a spoon. You can see how it's getting thick like that. So now I'm going to add, I've got about 1.5 pounds of Fontina. I don't want a real yellow cheese here because it's seafood. I'm going to add, this is Asiago, and that was probably 6 ounces. And then here I've got, I'm going to guess probably 1.5 cups of Parmesan. So we're going to blend these. You got to keep stirring this. You could already see it tightening up on you. But you want to keep stirring this until it gets smooth. And if it gets too thick on you, add a little more cream or milk to thin it out, but I think this is going to be good. Alright, so I got everything incorporated here. I'm just going to let this hang out for a little bit. I got it on a really low flame, but it's got a nice consistency to it. There's no lumps in it. There's still a little grit from that Parmesan in there, but I'm just going to let this hang out now. I'm going to taste for flavor real quick, see if it needs anything. I think it's perfect.
You heard it here, folks.
I think it's perfect. Our cheese sauce is just going to hang out. I'm going to dispatch our lobsters here. Remember, I had them in a cold ice bath. So first thing I'm going to do is take these claws off. Now with these, the tail, you just want to break them apart, side to side, and that's it. These I'm definitely going to save for lobster stock. Now if I do this right, you should be able to just crack this down, crack it sideways.
Ooh.
And you should be able to crack that right in center. It didn't work out too well. So, plan B. I'm going to just open it up this way. And then I'm going to remove that tail meat. So it all comes out. Kind of clean that end up a little bit. And that's it for the tail. And again, I save all these pieces because again, that's great for lobster stock. Your claws, just kind of wrap your tail over, or your towel over. Just kind of crack it.
Ooh, look at that.
You got your
claw perfect.
Meat. Perfect piece.
Wow.
And then these guys here, what I'll do is I'll just cut them down the middle, open them up, and then you're able to just take these out. That should be it. Just make sure you're not getting that plastic in there. Alright, I dispatched the main parts. But now these legs, you definitely don't want to waste these. There's good meat in there. So what I'll do is I'll just pop off that last knuckle, take a rolling pin, definitely don't want to waste that. So again, what I'll do is I'll just pop off that last knuckle so it comes out easy. Start from the very top. Work your way down. It's good meat. But I'm going to make a homemade mayonnaise. So I got 3 egg yolks. I like a little grainy mustard, so I'm going to put a little grainy mustard in there. Put a little shot of Old Bay in there. I'm going to put a little pepper in there. Now that Old Bay has salt in it already, so I'm going to just put a little bit of salt in there. A little bit of lemon juice. Run it through your hands so you're getting the seeds. And then let me grab a whisk. This is a very neutral oil. You don't want to use olive oil with something like this. I think it's just too overwhelming. So this is a canola oil. So now you just whisk. Drizzle that oil in slow.
Now what consistency are you looking for in this?
You want it to stand up. I mean, it's still pretty liquidy right now. And you'll see it going from that dark yellow. It'll get a little paler. Alright, so this is looking pretty good. It's getting a little lighter in color. I'm going to taste it for flavor, see if I need any salt, pepper. I'm going to put a little more Old Bay in there. Test it again for flavor. Perfect. Okay, so while everything's resting, while everything, I'm making the mayonnaise, I've had my pasta going on the back. Now your pasta, because I'm going to end up putting this in the oven, you want it al dente. You don't want it done. So if the box says 8 minutes, I go 6. Because again, I'm going to put cheese sauce in there. I'm going to bake it back in the oven, so you don't want it mushy. All right, so everything's ready to assemble. So I'm going to grab my cheese sauce. I got the pasta cooked al dente. I'm just going to pour this whole thing in there, not even eyeballing it. You can never have too much cheese. Plus, when you cook this, when you bake it, those noodles are going to absorb quite a bit of it too. So, I'm going to give this a quick mix. Alright, maybe I put too much cheese in there.
Never.
Never. Alright, so I'm going to grab some tail meat here. And again, you want to know it's lobster meat, so you don't want to cut up too fine. It's a nice
chunks.
Yeah, little 1/4 inch chunks maybe. I'm going to grab a little claw meat there. You want that claw meat in there?
It's looking real good.
Grab a couple of those legs.
Nice little rough chop.
Just fold that in. You don't want to get too rough with it because you don't want to break it up.
Look at that.
So I'm going to put this into a baking dish now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little panko breadcrumb topping for it. So I've got about a half stick of butter here, melted. Again, I'm just kind of eyeballing this. You don't want it. You certainly don't want it wet. Just mix a little of that breadcrumb in there. So now you're starting to see how it's separating. I could probably get away with a little bit more in there. I'm also going to add, let's see, a nice scoop of, maybe 2, 1.5 Parmesan cheese. That looks pretty good there. It's separated. It's moist enough to where you're going to get some nice browning on it. So there, I'm just going to take this and sprinkle. And that's it. I'm going to go to a 350 oven and just kind of watch it to brown. I'm going to guess probably 15 minutes. All right, so now on to the lobster roll. So I reserved some knuckle meat there, claw meat. And again, you don't want to get too small with this. You want to know what you're eating. Smaller pieces, I'm just going to leave whole. Apparently, Chewy's photobombing. So I'm just going to take 1 celery stalk and we'll cut it pretty thin on that one. A lot of people throw these out. These leaves are great flavor. So I'll chop these up and throw them in there too. So put this in there. A little crunch. I'm going to put a little of that homemade mayonnaise I did. And again, you don't want to get too crazy with this. You just enough to bind it. And that right there is perfect. You want to know what you're eating. You don't want to hide it with anything else. Remember, there's enough salt and pepper, mustard. I got Old Bay in there, so you don't need anything else with this. So that's ready to go. So I could not find any of the traditional New England buns, but I did find a brioche hot dog bun, so I'm going to put a little grill on that. Just get it a little brown on each side, a little butter, and we'll show everything completed. So I'm going to put our lobster roll together. Again, I could not find a traditional bun, but a brioche hot dog bun. I'm going to put a little butter on each side. All right, so I got a hot skillet going on over here. So as I am grilling my bun, our lobster is done, our lobster mac, and I guessed it 15 minutes. This was exactly 15 minutes.
Wow.
At 350. So as that's cooling off a little bit, so it's not as hot as the surface as the sun. Waiting for our bun to brown up a little. And we'll put everything together and manja. All right, so I got my, look at this. Are you looking at this?
Would you
Perfectly toasted bun.
Would you just look at that?
So, me personally, I like a little roughage. So I'm going to take a little...
So, a little bit of what?
This is... I can't remember.
Well, come on, spit it out.
Fill this guy up. Now
That's a lobster roll.
lobster roll. Let's plate. So me and Matthew are going to split this guy. Half of one there for Matthew. A scoop of this lobster mac and cheese.
Ooh.
Debbie's here, by the way. She was taste testing. Lobster
that.
mac and cheese.
And a lobster roll.
Roll. Well, again, thank you. It was a pleasure having you in our home, our kitchen. This is my first official cooking video, so hope you enjoyed it. Any questions, comments, leave below, please. Enjoyed doing it, and thank you.